So what are we doing today? We're making healthy trail mix for the trail. Let's go. Well, what's going on? It's Samantha from Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. Today I'm going to show you how I prepare two very essential trail snacks. One is a homemade trail mix, and the second is a homemade pork jerky. And the reason that I choose to make these items homemade is because you can't buy trail mix or jerky that doesn't have a bunch of additives in it. I'm really trying to eliminate seed oils from my diet. So those are things like corn oil, canola oil, any of those really ultra processed oils. Vegetable oil being the biggest, because the literature has shown us that those seed oils are very harmful to our health. They increase our inflammation. You don't want to use vegetable oil, corn oil, canola oil, because that stuff's basically just liquid poison. Don't put it in your body. But you don't want to use olive oil either, because olive oil becomes a trans fat at 350 degrees, which is the temperature that this is being cooked at. And trans fats are super bad for your body. And the reason that you want to use avocado oil has a higher smoke point and it's safer for the oven. This one can go up to temperatures of 550, so it is a more ideal oil. And if you don't like avocados, that's okay, because it actually doesn't taste like avocados at all. It's a very tasteless oil, and it's going to allow the salt and the other spices that you add to your trail mix to stick to it better. So I would definitely recommend you pick up a bottle of this if you're going to make your own trail mix. Only a few basic ingredients are needed to make this trail mix. I start by selecting the raw nuts that I like the best and dumping them into a mixing bowl, and then adding some avocado oil. Then I add some salt and thoroughly shake it. Once shaken up, I go ahead, spread them on a cookie sheet, and then it's time to add the remaining spices. And then the next thing, just a little bit of chili powder. And 2 lime wedges. To give it a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of sourness. Got a little bit of garlic, just a smidge. You can really overdo garlic. Look at that. See what that says? Pineapple sage. This is one of the herbs that I grow. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this. I'm gonna mix these up. The avocado oil makes it so much healthier than that nasty vegetable oil and sunflower oil that comes on the stuff that you buy in the store. 350 for 5 minutes. You can smell that roasted nut flavor now. This is gonna be good. Alright, now I'm gonna give these one more little stir. More salt. Unsweetened coconut flakes. And I put this on after because this is going to help to absorb a little bit of the excess oil. And then I'm going to stick this in here for another 90 seconds. Coconut roasts really, really quick. That's why I put it on the very end. Alexa, stop the timer. Smells tropical. We'll let this cool off, and then we'll bag it up. It's tasty. Let's heat this up. A couple scoops in a little bag. It's going to fit perfectly into the hip belt. I've got some jerky that I'm going to be bringing on trail too. I do sometimes eat store-bought jerky, but I don't like it. It has a bunch of nitrates in it, and usually when you look on the package, the first ingredient is sugar. So I make my own. This is a farm-raised pork roast that I'm going to use for this. I've got this all chopped up in these little thin pieces, and I put it in this marinade first. So this marinade is a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of fresh lemon juice, some garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of thyme, and some Worcestershire sauce. So I let it sit in there for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I lay it flat on this grate, and then I'm going to put it in the dehydrator, and it's going to be tasty. So I take this pork and I just real thin slice it like this. want to get it as thin as you can, and I cut the fat and as much of the connective tissue off as I can. You just got to be careful that you don't cut yourself, but you want to use a super sharp knife because that's what gets these nice thin pieces of meat. Got this meat mallet, so I'll give it a little bit of a whack, schnitzel it up, and then use a flat side on these thicker edges. I want this as thin as possible. I want all the pieces to be as even as possible in terms of the thickness. And a nice little thin piece, and I just stick it in the drink there. Let it marinate for a little while. Ooh, nice little thin, even cuts of meat. Oh, almost done. So this whole pork roast is going to produce 2 trays. I got 1, I got 2 trays. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to press the start button, we're going to crank up this temperature. I'm going to bring this temperature to 160, which is the safe internal temperature for pork. So leave it at 160 for 2 hours. And then once it gets to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to switch it to dehydrate, and I'm going to drop that down to about 135 degrees for about 3.5 hours, and then I'll check it. Might need another hour and a half or so. It's going to be tasty. So this is the final product here. This is an entire pork roast made into jerky. Hey. That stuff's good. Now, if you guys want to see some of my favorite jerky recipes, I want you to click right over here, and I'll see you guys over on that video.